welcome to the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week joining me, I have Kelly Nuckolls, Chief Marketing Officer with Jeskell Systems. Hi, how are you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jackie?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you are a huge member of the community since the very, very beginning, and we are just so excited to get to know you better in the community. So let's start off with those icebreakers. Where do you live and where did you grow up, if that's different?
Yeah, it is different. I live in the South. I grew up in the South Alabama. Went to school at Auburn, War Eagle. And I live in the Florida Panhandle, which is something I always have to explain to people. I live in the northwest part of Florida, pretty much the last place anyone would mention when they talk about a city in Florida. They'll say, Miami, is it near Miami or Tampa or Orlando? No, I'm closer to New Orleans than any of those. But live near the beach, which is awesome, and try to enjoy warm weather as much as possible.
Oh, that sounds really nice, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
What is a little known fact about you that you're willing to share with our community?
All right, I will share with you guys my fun fact icebreaker when you're at happy hours. Um, it's pretty wild, and no one tends to believe me. I was once in a plane crash. Obviously, I'm
What?
okay. Obviously, okay. It was about 10 years ago. I was actually headed to a work trip in New York, and I was on a plane that skidded off the runway at LaGuardia. And we all had to emergency evacuate, jump out of emergency exits. And anyway, it was crazy.
That
I had
is
some,
wild.
and I still made it to the event. It was it was like a
Wow.
freak snowstorm. It was in December, I believe, December, January. Um,
Okay.
but it's one of those things that no one can really say. So
No, I don't think I've known anyone that is has been in a plane crash, to be honest. And wow to you for actually getting, I don't know if you had to get off the plane, but continuing the flight. We'll
we
put
had,
it that way.
well, it was at landing, but we all had to get up the next morning and fly back.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know how you slept. Um,
A lot of adrenaline.
bravery.
Yep.
I love it. All right. Well, let's pivot into more of your professional background. And the first question I want to ask is, how do you differentiate yourself?
Okay. I think for me, and I think most people would say this about me. Um, I try to be real with everybody. I don't shy away from emotions or empathy, and I really prioritize listening over speaking. So
Mm.
I try to understand where anybody's coming from when they approach me with a conversation, good, bad, indifferent, and really try to take the empathetic stance. But also, being a good friend, I think, is
Mhm.
key in the channel. And every relationship that I have, I work really hard on it being a relationship that's not just a business relationship.
I love that answer. And it doesn't surprise me either, because I definitely see that in you. What is something that you've learned that you wish you knew earlier in your career?
Um, hmm. I think we talk a lot about imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
I feel like one of the things that challenged me earlier in my career was the need to replicate how someone else approached a role or was successful. Thought I had to follow a kind of a template for
Hmm.
the way a role needed to be done. And that's how success would be measured for me. And so for quite a while, I would always just try to follow in the footsteps of the person that was before me, and never really broke from that. And I wish more people would know that that is not the right path. that everyone brings amazing things to the table, and the more value you can bring and the more you can differentiate yourself and expand upon a role or a position, the better it's going to be for everyone.
Again, really, really great answer. I can totally relate to that. That definitely resonates. And I hope that people are hearing that as you say that, because that is very true. We don't know what we don't know. We start following people we want to emulate, or, or think a career goes a certain way, trajectory up, straight. But that's not true at all. And just like you said, like, our unique traits are what makes us us and actually helps innovate.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. So, how do you continue to grow and develop as a leader?
I mean, I try to be intentional about learning all the time.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not just technical learning. I educate myself consistently on everything that we sell and position to our clients, but also just learning from every experience, daily experiences. I currently am being challenged with a puppy sitting behind me. And patience, but really just I don't think, you know, professionally, I feel like, we constantly try to keep up with technology and learning about generative AI and how it can help us, optimize our roles and be faster and quicker. But mine is more about just naturally being taught lessons that come from everyday interactions, and not just those challenging ones where, you feel like you're going to learn a lesson from it, but naturally learning things through every engagement.
Um, I think that probably goes a lot in hand what you were saying earlier about you being a really good listener and enjoying listening. I can see how those everyday learnings, you would probably be more in tuned to kind of pick up, because you're such a great listener. So that's great, great advice, honestly. Um, how would you define successful leadership?
It's similar to some of these other answers. I mean, I think it's
Hmm.
rooted in open communication. It's creating an environment where people feel comfortable sharing thoughts and opinions, whether they're difficult or not. But to me, success in leadership is really just having a team that's able to pick up the phone or email or text candidly when there's frustration or really any sort of emotion involved. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we're easy to quick email someone if you just need something done or a fact, but when someone's frustrated or upset, and being able to have those open conversations feels like the team is unified and comfortable with leadership and their group as a whole.
You are refreshing. I
Good.
love this conversation. And I'm probably going to need to talk to you about a puppy, because we're considering going down that road. There's more behind that, but definitely might connect with you on what that's been like for you. So, as we wrap up, one of my favorite questions, because I always learn something new. Someone always has some kind of tip or a way of thinking about it, and that's, how do you protect or create work-life balance, as what balance means to you?
It's I've always been this way. It kind of really falls in this whole conversation. I'm open about what's happening at home and with my family and with the puppy, and it's fun that way to me. It's a little different. I think a lot of people are more closed off about home life with their colleagues, but I've gotten a great comfort level with my team and my partners and distributors, where but like today, for example. My oldest son has baseball tryouts, and everyone knows that little after lunch today, I'll be checked out, and I'm taking my son to baseball tryouts, and it's fun to be able to have those open conversations, because I'm sure the first thing I'll hear tomorrow is how tryouts go. So it's great for rapport building amongst the team, but also it helps me create like really comfortable space to do the things that I value most.
I love that, Kelly. I'm sure it helps your team too, in knowing that they can come to work as who they are and that you will celebrate the things in their life that they're doing and just be comfortable to say, like, okay, I might hop on tonight to kind of make up, but I want to really be here for XYZ because this is important to me.
Absolutely.
So by you doing that, you are definitely creating space for your team, and I'm sure they really appreciate that. It was so great getting to talk to you. This time always flies by so fast. Thank you again for allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, community members, please comment below. Continue the conversation. I can just about promise you Kelly will answer you because she is very, very big in the community. So definitely let's continue this conversation and definitely give her today. So until next time, have an amazing week, all.